ABC, always. B, closing. If you've ever worked in sales or business, you've probably heard this line before. It's one of the most famous quotes in business movie history, and it comes straight from Glengarry Glen Ross, a film that shows the brutal reality of high-pressure sales, competition, and what happens when the stakes are too high. The movie follows a group of desperate real estate salesmen who are fighting for survival in a cutthroat business. Their boss has just given them an ultimatum: either you close deals or you're fired. And to make things worse, they're competing for a set of premium sales leads that could make or break their careers. What follows is a masterclass in sales tactics, persuasion, and business pressure. We see some salesmen thrive under pressure, while others crack and make desperate mistakes. But the biggest lesson? Not all sales strategies lead to long-term success. So if you've ever wanted to know how high-pressure sales work, how persuasion can backfire, and what not to do in business, then stick around. Because today, on Real Hustle Academy, we're breaking down Glengarry Glen Ross and uncovering the real business lessons hidden in this intense sales drama. Before we dive into the business lessons, let's quickly go over what happens in Glengarry Glen Ross. The movie takes place over 2 days in a struggling real estate office. The salesmen, Shelley Levine, Ricky Roma, Dave Moss, and George Aronow, are all desperate to close deals. Why? Because their boss, Blake, has just given them an ultimatum: sell or be fired. He introduces a brutal competition. Whoever makes the most sales gets a brand new Cadillac. Second place, a set of steak knives. And if you're in third place, you're out. Now, there's one catch. The best leads, called the Glengarry leads, are locked away. Only the top salesmen will get access to them. The rest are stuck calling old, low-quality leads that rarely turn into sales. And this is where things get intense. Each salesman reacts differently. Under pressure, Shelley Levine, an older salesman, is struggling. He used to be great, but now he's losing his touch. He begs for better leads, offering bribes and making desperate moves to stay in the game. Ricky Roma, the smooth talker, is the best closer in the office. He knows how to manipulate people, build trust, and sell dreams, even when the deals aren't great. Dave Moss, frustrated with the unfair system, plans to steal the Glengarry leads and sell them to a competitor. He tries to convince George Aronow to help him pull off the heist. George Aronow, the weakest of the group, is frozen by fear. He's unsure whether to go along with the robbery or keep playing by the rules. The second half of the movie revolves around the aftermath of the office break-in. The Glengarry leads are stolen, and everyone is under suspicion. As the pressure builds, some salesmen crack, some turn on each other, and others prove why they're the best closers in the game. By the end of the movie, it's clear sales is a brutal game, and not everyone can survive in it. Always be closing, but not at any cost. The most famous line in Glengarry Glen Ross is, "Always be closing." But what does it actually mean? In sales, ABC is the idea that every conversation should push the customer toward a sale. The best salesmen don't just talk, they guide the buyer into making a decision. They know how to handle objections, control the conversation, and make the deal happen. But here's where things go wrong in the movie. Some of the salesmen push too hard. They pressure, manipulate, and even lie just to close deals. And while that might work short-term, it's not a sustainable strategy. Ricky Roma, for example, is great at making people trust him. But he doesn't actually care if his clients can afford the properties. He just wants the commission. And when the deal falls apart, it damages the company's reputation. Shelley Levine, in a desperate attempt to close, even bribes his boss for better leads. This kind of unethical approach might get short-term wins, but in the long run, it leads to failure. Yes, closing is important, but good sales aren't just about getting the deal. The best salespeople build long-term relationships that create repeat customers and referrals. If you push too hard or lie to close a deal, you'll lose credibility. And in business, reputation is everything. One of the biggest frustrations in the movie is the quality of leads. The top salesmen get the Glengarry leads, high-quality potential buyers. Meanwhile, the weaker salesmen are given dead leads, people who aren't serious about buying. And here's the truth. Your success in sales isn't just about skill, it's about working with the right customers. Even the best salesman can't close a deal if the person isn't ready to buy. Ricky Roma succeeds because he gets high-quality leads, people who are actually interested in investing. Shelley Levine struggles because he's stuck calling old, cold leads that never turn into real sales. If you're in business or sales, don't waste time on bad prospects. Learn how to qualify leads early. Focus on the right audience, people who actually need what you're offering. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. Throughout the movie, we see how desperation ruins sales. The salesmen who feel pressured to close deals at any cost end up making bad decisions, cutting corners, or breaking rules. Shelley Levine, for example, used to be a great salesman, but after a bad streak, he becomes desperate. He bribes his boss for better leads, then gets involved in the office break-in, all because he felt like he had no choice. Dave Moss, instead of improving his skills, blames the system. He convinces himself that the only way to win is to steal the Glengarry leads and sell them to a competitor. In contrast, Ricky Roma stays confident and in control. He doesn't let pressure force him into bad decisions, which is why he's the most successful salesman in the office. In business, confidence sells, desperation doesn't. If a customer senses that you're struggling or desperate, they'll either lose trust or take advantage of you. Stay calm, stay professional, and never make rushed decisions out of fear. One of the biggest lessons in Glengarry Glen Ross is that cutting corners will eventually get you caught. Shelley Levine gets arrested for his role in the office break-in. Dave Moss loses everything because he thought he could cheat the system. Even Ricky Roma, the best salesman, realizes that a deal he closed might fall apart because he misled the client. At the end of the day, the real winners in business are those who play the long game. Salesmen like Gordon Gekko, Wall Street, or Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, might get rich fast, but it never lasts. Integrity matters. Business success isn't just about closing deals, it's about trust, relationships, and long-term credibility. If you cheat, you might win today, but you'll lose tomorrow. So, what can we learn from Glengarry Glen Ross? It's more than just a movie about sales. It's a look at the high-pressure world of business and what happens when people push too hard for success. Let's go over the biggest lessons. Always be closing, but not at any cost. Good salesmanship is about persuasion and relationship building, not just pressuring people into buying. Ethical sales lead to long-term success. The right leads are everything. If you're selling to the wrong people, no amount of skill will help you close the deal. Focus on finding qualified leads who are actually ready to buy. Desperation kills business deals. People can sense when you're desperate, and it weakens your position. Confidence sells. Stay in control, even under pressure. Unethical business practices will catch up to you. Cutting corners or making shady deals might work in the short term, but in the long run, it will ruin your career and reputation. At the end of the day, Glengarry Glen Ross teaches us that business is a tough game, but the ones who win are those who stay smart, ethical, and strategic. Now, here's the big question. If you were working in this office, which salesman would you be? Would you play fair and fight your way to the top? Or would you cut corners like some of these guys? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more business lessons from movies. We analyze the best money and sales strategies from Hollywood so you can apply them in real life.